Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review Breath of the Forest VR, a game released on the Steam store February 20th, 2021 by developer FC Labs. It's available for the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift. It normally retails for $15. It's on a release sale, 10% off. There is a free demo for this to download, and I'll put a link to the store where you can download this demo. I got this game through Viport Infinity, so if you're a subscriber, you can download this game. I tested this game out on the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable. And this game is a little bit special. It's brought to you by Brazilian developers that are highlighting the native population of Brazil, a subject matter that is not often portrayed in video games. So I was excited to play this game. I was hoping it would be really good. Unfortunately, almost immediately after starting to play this game, I realized this is not a good game. I think the heart was in the right place for this game, and you can tell some love was put into it, but just the execution overall was really bad. The gameplay is too simple, the graphics are too poor, and there's just too many technical issues here for me to be able to recommend this game. Sadly, I just cannot recommend Breath of the Forest. It's just too poorly made of a game for me to be able to recommend this to you, and it's just not fun to play. But it does have an interesting premise with the indigenous stories of Brazil and South America, and you go on this journey to basically balance the forces of nature, try to conserve Mother Nature in this land that's in danger of overhunting, and you use the four elements: fire, water, earth, wind, and you use a magical bow, and you can use a spear and shield, and you can also use a magical flute. But as soon as I started playing this game, I noticed some issues with the interactions, with the teleportation, with just selecting items from the menu screen, and I knew I was going to have a rough time. And as I played this game more, I just noticed those issues more and more, and I'll try to discuss all the several issues I faced in this game. Breath of the Wild is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 90 frames per second. There aren't really any settings available for this game. I believe the only one is language, so you can choose between English or Portuguese. I always recommend that developers at a minimum always have graphical settings for their games. That way the game can play on a variety of rigs, but that's not the case here. Also, I would recommend that developers always have different locomotion methods available if possible, as well as smooth and snap turning options. In this case, we're stuck with teleportation only. There is no smooth or snap turning, and the problem here is that teleportation here does not work really well. There were various times where the teleport just didn't want to work, and I think you see that early on in the video, and it really just depended where you were on the map, whether the teleport was working okay or whether you had several issues trying to get from point A to point B. But even stuff like selecting stuff from the menu, starting the game, clicking on dialogue here was a chore. Using the laser pointer UI here was very rough around the edges. It needs to be a smoothed and polished experience, and here even something as basic as clicking through dialogue was frustrating at times, and it just plain didn't work a lot of the time. And there's also the weapon selection here, which is also pretty bad. You basically have icons in your HUD, and you reach out and you touch that item and then you switch to that weapon. They just need to get rid of that whole interface. That's a terrible way to do weapon switching within a game. It's just bad, ugly, and it's also poorly implemented as well. And then you get into the combat. The combat here is just too simple, and it's also buggy as well. You can see that on the video when I'm using the melee. That's pretty bad. That's not fun or exciting to use the spear and the shield. And you can basically see that I'm just poking them. There's no real physics here. There's no real strategy. And then you get to the bow and arrow as well. And the bow and arrow is just one of the worst bow and arrows I have played in VR. And it's also buggy. And you can see that on the video where I directly hit enemies several times and the hits just don't register. So there's definitely a hitbox issue, a hit register issue in this game. And just the bow mechanic is very poor overall. The visuals and sounds are poor overall. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the voiceovers aren't good at all. The way the story is written, it's got a nice story, I think, but the way it's executed, it's bad. It's hard to understand as an English speaker. I know these are Brazilian Korean devs, and I don't want to be too harsh on them here, but the English text was just poorly written. It seems like it was translated, maybe put through Google Translate and then spit out. It's just not a very engaging story as it's executed, and that's a shame because I really wanted to like Breath of the Wild, and it's got a good heart, but there's very little positive I can actually say about this game. I cannot recommend this game. I don't even recommend that you download it on Viveport Infinity. I don't believe it's worth the download. If I have to rate this game, I would give it a 3.5 out of 10. It's got a good heart. Maybe in the future with some major updates, this might be a nice experience, but there's just so many things wrong with this game. I just don't see a fix coming that will fix everything that I pointed out here. This is far from being a good game. Its heart is in the right place. I feel like maybe this was a passion project, and I feel for these devs, I really do, but this is just not a well-made game, and I cannot recommend it. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you liked my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
These gods, their strength will be trapped in your bow. They can be found in the sacred temple. I'll open the teleport for you. Good luck.